and ready to go.
We're not even bears.
We're not even bears, but we are armored up.
Her name is Bal.
Her name is Jana.
And we're here to talk about episode 15, Skyward, of Critical Role Campaign 1 Vox Machina, that thing.
Is it called just Skyward? I thought it was like Skyward Bound or something.
Nope.
No, it's just called Skyward, huh?
There's a thumbnail.
Yeah, it's just called Skyward.
It's just Skyward.
I should note that I tried to watch this episode like 3 or 4 times, but I kept falling asleep in the middle. So, like...
It's not even...
Take that as you will.
I wouldn't even consider this a bad episode, but the combat does start to drag at some point.
It's fine. It's honestly fine. I just fell asleep a lot. Then I started watching it again, and then I fell asleep, and then I did that again. But I did watch it eventually.
Good, otherwise we couldn't be doing this episode right now.
Yes.
Date of recording is July 21st.
Yes. July 21st.
For the record. Yes.
Yeah, I had to remember if I paid my credit card. I did.
Cool.
Fun
Good for you.
tidbit
Look
about
at her
me.
being responsible. I ordered her birthday present today because she ordered one for me.
I did. I told her that she doesn't have to because like we shouldn't have to like gift of the magi each other. But she did get me a gift and it's nice. I got you a replacement gift because one half of your gift did not come, so yay. It might be a little late, but it's coming.
I mean, last time you managed to even out presents, like her present arrived too early, even though I had to like contact the postal delivery service as they were going because I didn't know the apartment number, or that Americans apparently don't have names on their door and their doorbells and their mail slots or something, which is something we have here. Your name is just on the door, so the poor postal worker doesn't have to know your apartment. Like, what the fuck?
Absolutely not. Does not happen here.
Yeah, so I was like in live chat contact with the postal worker on the road, telling them like, what is going on? Why can't you deliver this? Oh my god, we need a number. And then they could just change it the same day and it worked out fine. And it was there like a month early.
Relevant information. A couple weeks ago, right before I moved to this new apartment, which I'm recording from, I found a cat wandering around. Somebody's loose cat.
Oh, yeah.
And this was on July 4th, actually.
She stole a cat.
And I almost stole it. I stole a cat. Almost stole it legitimately, because I did not like the owners. But I finally managed to get in contact with like the people who own it. And so much is the case that that you do not know the names of people's house number. I asked the main like office of this apartment building where to return it to because I was moving very soon and I needed to return this cat. And they said that they couldn't tell me. They couldn't tell me who the owners were or which apartment they live in. They recommended that I just let the cat go and hope that it goes home.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I ended up saying I'm not doing that. Just holding the cat in a cat carrier until the owners came to pick it up.
And like technically you just stealing this cat probably would have been the best thing for the cat.
Yeah, but like, what I said was like, when I learned who they were, I said like, okay, if they approach me, I'll give them the cat back, because I want to see that they like give a shit. Waited for them to contact me, and then and then actually like, the worst thing happened, which is I didn't get contacted by the owners, I got contacted by the owner's boyfriend, who was like, yeah, whatever, I don't really care, it's not my cat. And I was like, okay,
asshole.
Can I talk to the actual cat owner? Yeah, he was an asshole. Like, I was like, I gave him the full interrogation, like, you know that cats that go outside die, right? And he was like, no, I don't really care. And then I spoke to the owner, and she was much, much more polite about it, and was very concerned about how her cat had never come home. And I ended up getting to a pretty good compromise, which is because I gave the cat to her, back to her at the office of the residential area, the actual apartment manager ended up talking to her, basically saying like, hey, you know that outdoor cats are against the lease, right? If you continue to do this, we will have problems. So, yeah, I got the principal to be mad at her, and I don't like to do that. I'm not a snitch, but like,
I mean,
keep your fucking cat indoors.
When it's saving a life, snitching isn't the worst.
Yeah, no, and this, I'm saying this because this has been known to happen, and like honestly, it's very frustrating to me because like I see people all the time, especially when this was in Flagstaff. A lot of people were just walking their cats on a leash and being fine with it. Like
yeah, a friend of mine just harness trained her cat so that they could take her on long car rides and let her out at like rest stops and stuff.
Yeah, her main explanation was that the cat was very energetic and wouldn't want to stay indoors, and like...
Then play with your fucking cat! If you have a toddler that's very energetic, you just let it run out into traffic? I don't think so.
I have a very energetic toddler, that's why I have him on a leash outside.
I've come around on the concept of children on leashes, sort of, because people have explained to me that sometimes it's just better because your toddler will just outsmart you and run into traffic anyways.
I think it very much depends on the toddler. Anyway. Critical Role. Has anything happened in terms of Critical Role recently? I know they're selling like more figures now. I think there's like a...
Figures that actually look good.
Yeah.
Groglet Rio.
Still no Percy figure.
Yeah, that's rude.
That one's gonna sell for a lot. You know that one's gonna sell for a lot.
Oh god, yes, especially after the animated show.
Yes. Please, I hope they don't give him the crest. The avian crest.
The vaginal canal.
The vaginal canal?
The vaginal canal family emblem.
Oh, yes. I actually was talking about the hair crest.
You mean the poof?
The poof, yes.
Yeah, it's also
but
stupid.
But also don't give him the vaginal canal. The vaginal canal is not very good.
Painting that one in the sky is just gotta be no good for anything. Anyways,
which is like just weird.
Which is like perfect advertisement for that big ass 4-hour takedown. Well, we don't just take it down. Critical examination and autopsy of the Legend of Vox Machina that we did. We just need to edit it. We need to edit it and put it somewhere and stuff.
It might be already out by the time this comes out.
Really? You sure about
Probably
that?
Probably
not. I'm
not. It's like 5 hours long.
Yep. We went there. Like, this was I want to say a labor of love, but honestly it was a labor of suffering. Not because the show's...
It was a labor of of divine agony.
Yeah, not even just because we think the show is bad. The sad fact is we don't think it's bad. It's just disappointing. In places.
It's a very mixed bag, which is why it's so long. Like if we were able to just say if it was good or bad, we would have a much shorter episode.
Yeah.
But we fully went into all the things that might be good and all the things that might be bad and all the
how this could have been better.
Everything.
How this could have worked. What worked. What didn't. I think the worst part, what made it so bad for us this time was that we kind of watched the entire thing while on call with each other over the course of 2 or 3 days.
Separated by a week.
Yeah, something like that. It was just a extreme cram session and we recorded 5 a.m. until 5 a.m. for me and stuff.
Yes.
This is gonna be loopy. I mean, you apparently like us when we get loopy. That's why the most chaotic episodes have the most views.
That's true.
And also the longest.
So hopefully we'll be well received.
Yes.
We'll be publishing both an abridged, well not abridged, a normal length and also the full unabridged version will be up on Patreon.
Yep. Full abridged version for every patrons and we don't actually know how we're going to abridge it yet, but sort of the audiobook shortening stuff on the YouTube eventually, but a week later or 2. Yes. If you give us money for it, this is going to be a birthday present for the 9 hours of shared birthday we have, which is gross.
How gross is it? It's very gross.
It is so gross. Do you know how when you have 23 people in a room, there's a 50% chance that 2 of them share a birthday?
We share that birthday.
We have 4 people in the Discord, and I managed to find someone who has 9 hours of a birthday with me because time zones. It's technically different days, but...
Because time zones. Very technically different days. It's very technical.
But time zones, so 9 hours of a shared birthday. Also, she's way younger than me, but we've been over that before.
I'm not that much younger than you. I'm a couple years younger.
You are young enough that I would have left German elementary school before you entered it.
Yeah, but it wasn't I was born by the time that you entered elementary school. It's fine.
No, you just we're a 3-year-old.
I was alive.
You were alive. You weren't alive when I entered kindergarten. Like,
whatever, we're gonna be so old soon that it's not even gonna matter anymore.
I have been forgetting my age regularly. Like, I'm kind of convinced I'm turning 30 this year, but I'm not.
Everyone keeps telling me that I'm turning 25. Everybody keeps telling me that, like, as soon as I turn 25, I'm just gonna have a complete breakdown, so that's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, that's when, like, planets come back down and fuck you up or something. That's what my good friend Connor taught me.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know which planet, maybe Saturn or something. But, like, that's when, like, your late 20s is when everything goes to shit, and I can attest to that.
Every person I spoke to has mentioned having a breakdown at age 25 specifically, so, like, that's gonna be exciting.
I mean, my breakdown was, like, I've been in the middle of an extended breakdown since I was, like, 23.
Yeah.
How old was I?
Still going.
Yeah, I was 23 in 2016. So, technically 22, it's ongoing. There's maybe, okay... The tunnel will be over tomorrow. Either way.
Okay. Alrighty.
That's depressing.
So, shall we talk about the content warnings and spoiler
you mean we
warnings?
should do an episode? Oh, good to know. Yeah, right. I'm staring at Travis Willingham for a reason right now. Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Hello there. Welcome to the content and spoiler warnings for this episode 16 of Cloak Rollback. There aren't very many this episode, but let's go through them nevertheless, starting with the content warnings. This episode has some anti-gnome fantasy racism, so be conscious of that, and also mentions of sexual harassment occurring. In this episode proper, we do discuss in some details the behaviors of Orion on the table, so that might be uncomfortable, and we apologize, but such is the case. And I do believe we use a brief but ill-intentioned slur against sex workers, and we do apologize for that. Additionally, for spoiler warnings, we do discuss late Campaign 2 spoilers and early Campaign 3 spoilers. They're not major, but they are there, so be conscious of them when they come up. And finally, I believe Ryan Akaba is going to be present in Campaign 1 for about 13 more episodes, though I don't have them listed down. Jana can write them down for me, usually she does, and I don't pay attention to these things, so now you know who's the one who's keeping track. Alright, thank you very much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of the episode. Bye!
So now back to your regularly scheduled podcast or something.
So,
out of Game Tidbits. As you can see, esteemed co-host and also everyone who pays for the notes on this, maybe if you read along, which I wouldn't recommend, but can't, you could.
They did change the thumbnail.
Yes. I have posted the old thumbnail, which is just like Travis looking hot. It's not painted like rock or anything, he just has like a giant sword. What are these things called again? Not a goblet.
A stein?
Stein.
A stain?
Stein, God. This Stein, Stein, just means stone. Why is it a drinking thing for you all? This is so weird. What are you
I don't know.
doing?
Mistranslation.
Stein. Anyways.
Percival Steen.
It's a hot picture.
Frederick Steen.
I'm very sad that they changed the thumbnails, especially because they applied some weird sort of arcs to them.
Such weird arcs. I don't really understand why they did them the order that they did.
Yeah. They cut off as just stupid.
Some arcade reason.
But also, like, Travis in just closet cosplay looks really hot. He's like this rugged, dirtied up Aragorn kind of look.
Fine.
I'm into it.
He does have a dirty... It is a good look for him.
It is. I mean, he's also hot when he's not dirtied up, so it's not quite the Aragorn phenomenon, but it's a really good look. But also, wow, he has gotten buff since these photos were taken, huh?
Oh yeah, he's just been continually getting more and more buff. I have a theory that by the end of Critical Role the show, he'll just, like, eclipse everybody else at the table. He'll just become larger and larger.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't even know how he's doing. Maybe he's just getting buff from, like, lifting a baby.
That's actually
like, lifting a whatever, like, it's not a baby anymore.
Which makes him even better for weight training. No, I know that my aunt once showed off that she had grown a really big arm just from carrying my cousin when he was a baby. It was, like, genuinely impressive.
I'm now thinking of the picture you showed me of you holding both of your cousins and just all of you just blonde. So blonde.
God, yeah. I could totally use this if I ever did an Aryan certification again.
Yes.
Me blonde, holding two even blonder tiny children up. It's a pretty photo,
Yeah.
but also, yeah, we are very blonde in our youths. I'm less blonde now. So are these two. These two are also, well, one of them is taller than me, and the other one is probably also going to be taller than me, which is the biggest injustice in the universe, because my mom is 6 feet tall, and her mom is shorter than me.
But you stunted yourself with caffeine.
My mom stunted myself with cigarettes.
Yeah, that happened
during
first.
Pregnancy. Because a doctor recommended it over quitting cold turkey because the stress would be worse for the baby than the nicotine or something. It was the 90s. It was the 90s,
it sure
guys.
was the 90s.
And if that's not the most 90s thing, God.
Christ. Anyway, this episode aired originally on June 25th, 2015. Very close to E3.
I think after. Just barely after, because Matt is kind of overwhelmed by it and is like in full crazy mode, he says, which...
Oh yeah,
fine.
I also want to say, in addition to Travis gaining width, you know what also doubled in volume? Matt's hair.
Yeah, right. It is a lot floofier these days, huh?
Right? Yeah, like he definitely changed the regimen or something, and like it looks much better these days because like I'm not saying it looks bad in the old episode, but it's much more flat.
Yes. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
The proud pony mane that he has today.
Yeah, like they just... Yeah. This is also like... It is extremely, if you ask me, it is extremely rewarding to see these people age in real time. And while they all look like babies here, they also kind of look hotter with age.
Yeah, I imagine part of it is because they have like the money for like a makeup crew. But also just part of it is like, man, they really do look better. Liam especially has gotten better.
Okay, Liam also had this horrible haircut in the beginning, so...
Yes, Liam somehow always looks like super old in the beginning, and like it's only gotten younger.
Everyone looks extremely young, Liam looks really old, and then they just kind of equal out eventually.
Yeah. Yes. But like, Talos in these days looks really good. I'm sorry. Sorry for Percy glasses. Sorry for horny on Maine, but like with the Percy glasses, like damn,
those Percy glasses looks good. Working for him.
They're working for him. But like yeah, you definitely see moments in which like they've definitely. I mean, I always feel weird about like commenting on people's attractiveness that I don't know, especially like celebrities. I feel like that's weird.
I mean, we are saying nice things. We aren't really thirsting over them much.
Yes, much. I mean, I'm going to have moments.
We are extremely tame compared to most of the fandom.
I'm not thirsting over them as long as Marisha is still seated below the table. As soon as she starts crouching on things change for me.
Really?
I really like her hips. I'm sorry. She has really nice hips.
She does have good hips.
As soon as she like starts climbing up on things, I'm just like, oh no. Oh, I'm just stupid and bisexual about this.
Okay.
Anyway, in non-thirsty things.
In slightly non-thirstier, less thirstier things, they are giving away like signed handbooks and cast pictures and telling people to post on Facebook about why we should watch this show, which, oh boy. 2015.
Although I will say that you can actually kind of tell how like exponentially they would grow since this is the 15th episode, and like, sure, 15 weeks is a lot. But they're already up to, by the end of this episode, 4,000 subscribers, which is, like, really good growth.
Oh, yeah. Like, quadrupled from the first episode.
Yeah, that's really, really good growth. Especially, as far as I know, like, if you have more than, like, 7 subscribers on Twitch, you are, like, in the 90 percentile. Yes, they are doing a giveaway of various D&D stuff, signed pictures, I think.
And among them is a really cool... Green Dragon Mini.
Yes, the Green Dragon Mini.
And when Matt shows that to the camera, you can hear Marisha in the background being like, oh, I wanted that.
Oh, Marisha, you'll change that song.
So this section is only slightly less horny.
Man, Remember when they had the sort of... You remember when they, a fan made them, like, those, like, dragon heads for every dragon they killed?
Yes!
Yeah. I wonder where those are right now. I know the last time they were at Matt and Marisha's house, but, like, damn, those were cool.
Do you think she had to fight... What was his name again?
Oh,
Care Bear. Carrick.
Carrick.
Played him.
No, I don't think he should have to fight for them. He seems like... He feels like he just sort of coincidentally got the killing blow.
Rothfuss! Patrick Rothfuss.
Patrick Rothfuss.
Huh, came to me.
No, I can't even remember the thing. I know Wise Man's Fear is one of them.
I don't know any of his books either. I just know he was there, and he technically would have gotten the green dragon head, but I think Marisha said he would have to fight her for it.
Yes. I don't think anyone fought Marisha. Marisha, and like I've said multiple times, I think I would rather fight Travis than Marisha, because I feel like Travis knows to modulate his punches to not kill me, but I feel like Marisha punches at full force every punch she throws. Every time you see her, like, fondly, like, punch someone in the arm for some victory, it feels like she punched them at full force.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a side effect of being as tiny as she is.
Yeah. Like as nimble as she is. You know,
she's tiny and nimble, and nobody expects her to be like physically strong like that, least of all herself.
Yes.
Yes. Anyways, there's also like this 8-bit shirt and later mug designed by Awesome Fan Matt Abernathy that they give away that is purchasable right now.
Where is Matt Abernathy these days?
The episode was aired.
I meant to look him up, but like now I don't think I did. Matt Abernathy.
It's hard to look him up, and I get a bunch of politicians.
No. Hopefully he's not a politician.
Yeah, whatever. He also made like the same motive is later put on the mug that Ashley manages to put on a blind spot.
Oh, right! Apparently Matt Abernathy made some very similar 8-bit fan art for 2019's 4-year anniversary.
Tannison is late because he's stuck in traffic. Liam is in New York or New Jersey. They keep calling him New Jersey throughout the episode. Is that just what people do?
I think he's in New Jersey. I feel like because he says he's in Weehawken. Alexander Hamilton died.
Because everything is legal in New Jersey.
Everything is legal in New Jersey. I actually had a different, because at some point he says like all the way from New Jersey. At some point, and I just got like a shot of like Vampire Weekends, Walcott, which has that exact line. Like, damn. At least I can say that I have a New Jersey reference that isn't Hamilton.
Yay.
Anyway, I do think that he was probably like in New York and went to his parents' house to record this.
Yeah, something like that.
He does this later in the campaign, during the Feywild arc. He says he's recording from like where he used to play Dungeons and Dragons as a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, not only is Taliesin in LA traffic, he's straight off coming off in the flight was shorter than he was stuck in traffic.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
LA sure is a city, y'all.
Yes. Liam is in a little iPad that is in the center of Travis's chest, like Krang.
Yes, and sometimes Travis holds the iPad so Liam can see the battle map.
It's cute.
It is, yes. They received so many presents, so they don't really present them until the end of the show, and they got a really fancy bottle of brandy.
That one is so funny because they got the fancy bottle of brandy, which they mistake for, I think, bourbon at first.
Scotch.
Scotch. But they open it and start pouring it out before reading the note, and the note says specifically, "This is for the crew. You can share it with the cast if you'd like."
I think the other way around. It's for the cast, but I would love for you to share it with the crew.
I think it's for like the behind the scenes stuff, but like I'd have to go back and listen.
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
They make a whole thing about how like they should have read it first before opening it, and that's why you open.
Oh yeah.
That's why you read the note before you open the present.
Yep.
But yes, this is before I guess the Twitch guidelines that say that you can't have booze.
Right, those are a thing now, huh?
Well, I think so. Considering all the times they've said they've had quote unquote Cokes.
Apple juice.
Apple juice. Anyway, I think, is there anything else that we want to mention?
No, I have another note here, but we really don't have to talk about that one.
I mean, they're doing a fundraiser for...
Yeah.
So, that's nice. They do that throughout.
Mm-hmm. That's what they raise, like, the money for, which eventually gets them, like, gets Zack Snugglelord to promise a rap battle video between Vox Machina and Vox Moronica, the people from the episode we skipped.
Yeah, I'm tempted to look that up to see if they ever made it, but, like, do I care? Not that much.
I think if that existed, we would have seen it.
Yeah, and also, like, it's the fact that, like, apparently he volunteered the Vox Machina people to record that before getting their permission, which always feels to me like, absolutely not. You gotta ask people before nominating them to be part of a rap battle video.
Yeah. Also, everyone in this is a little too white for a rap battle that isn't just pure cringe.
Is Iffy? I can't remember. Is it?
I don't know. I have no idea who was on that. But, I mean...
don't know. If there is someone in there who is not white, other than Ryan...
oh, right, I think that was there? I don't remember.
It feels like a microaggression to nominate them to a rap battle before asking them.
Is the fact that Zack keeps running around in this unicorn costume a microaggression against furries?
Possibly. Might be him discovering his furry identity. We can't know this for sure. We don't know what happened to this man.
Is that the furry equivalent of being an egg?
You can't keep dropping these in the middle of recording. We have to move forward.
I'm sorry, I had a migraine today. My brain is doing weird things.
It sure is. It's doing lovely
asking the real questions.
Anyway, I think that's all the out-of-game tidbits. So, let's get into the episode.
The actual episode. So,
where were we at?
Where are we at? I love that we just keep doing these things at the same time to avoid the responsibility of guiding the conversation.
Alright, I'll read them. I'll read it out.
I wrote it. She reads it.
Okay. Freshly out of the Underdark, the party made someone else make plans to lock away the Orcus horn, and then went off to blow all their cash at Gilmore's glorious goods while he took Vax out on a date. And that was the entirety of last episode.
That's the entirety of the episode. Like, we got a Brian was mentioned and some casual slurs dropped, and like many people introduced. And that's it.
And like, we almost start this episode by doing it again.
Yeah, mostly. We did shopping, but since Laura wasn't at the table, and they didn't really divvy up the items they bought yet, that's what they just do for the first bit of the episode.
Yeah, they just kind of sit on the stoop of Gilmore's glorious goods and divvying up what everybody wants and what everybody needs, and figuring it out what everybody like can use or can't use. Matt tells Tiberius that he can't use armor, so he can't get the cold snap armor
because he reads the player's handbook very selectively.
Yes,
while he is more invested in reading the monster manual.
Laura breaks my heart a little bit by very nicely asking for the Pearl of Power, which I don't know if she even gets eventually. But
she gets the Pearl of Power.
She wants it, please.
She does want it, but I also think it's like the worst choice they could have made.
It is, but she wants it. And it's the only thing she wants out of the whole thing.
Yeah, literally none of these items were bought for her. She just made everyone get the best possible price.
Yeah, and like,
which is what she does.
That alone, I'm just like, just let her have it. Like, sure, probably somebody else could use it more because it is like a thing at swivel, and like her highest level is level 3.
Third level.
But like
her highest level is 3rd level. Everyone else is like 3 to 4 3rd level spells so far.
Yeah. So yes, it is true that other people could use this to better effect, but also, she wants it. Be honest, she wants it. Let her have the pretty shiny thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would have given her the cold snap armor, but. Yeah.
It's the only thing she asks for.
Maybe she gets cold snap armor eventually. It's way cooler than what they buy here.
Yes. Also, so they do a lot of negotiations. Keyleth goes directly back into Gilmore's glorious goods and very much like a I forgot the milk at the grocery store kind of thing.
You skipped like 90% of this conversation.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
She doesn't immediately go back in. Larisha, Kilo, Scanlan, and Tiberius go back in only after they are done outside the door.
Yes, and they talk about who gets the belt of the dwarven kind. Travis really wants it because Grog, Beard, yes, he wants to be a real boy.
Kind of everyone wants the belt just for the beard. It's like what they established.
Like, it does actually have a really good ability, but like everybody just wants it for the beard. Taliesin brings up the idea that like if it just grows the beard and the beard stays, they could just be an all bearded party.
Yeah.
It's very funny because I'm pretty sure that the only person other than Grog who grows a beard is Percy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah, half of us probably don't go beyond like a little bit of peach fuzz, which is why Vax doesn't bother.
Yes.
If at all. And I mean, if our headcanon holds that Vax is a lot more elfin and Vex is a lot more humanish looking or something, then he might not even be able to do that, so that's fine.
I bet Scanlan could probably grow a mustache. He feels like he can grow a mustache, probably.
Yeah, no, Scanlan, like, he could definitely grow a porn stash.
For sure.
Like, he just needs to inherently have the ability to do so. Also, isn't his picture in the current campaign guide with a beard?
Not that I can think of, but possibly.
Okay, might have misremembered something. I mean, he's just like the person who should be able to grow a porn stash and very slutty chest hair.
Yes. He seems like the kind of person who, if he does not have the natural ability to grow chest hair, he would have some sort of wig situation.
He would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, they talk about who can and can't grow a beard because the specific the description of the item says that it will cause beard growth in whoever physically can grow a beard.
Yes, whoever's physically capable.
Like, the physical limitations on that are a bit vague. Like, the ladies grow a beard? Yeah, kind of.
The ladies can easily grow beards, that's not the issue. The thing is that Goliaths just have no body hair, which is enforced at the end of the episode again, when he does another beard roll and manages to grow, like, completely translucent peach fuzz.
Yeah, it's struggling a lot more with him than, like, rather than the other party, which will just, like, instantaneously grow a beard.
I'm pretty sure the half-elves could have, but like not naturally, but with a belt. But they could have, and like
they could have.
I could have grown a glorious beard, and Scanlan we just established. Sure. Percy, of course. And the only one who can't would be Tiberius, because lizards do not grow beards.
No, they do not. Unless you're one of those Asian, like East Asian dragons with the wispy mustaches and the chin beards.
Are those like really hair, though?
Not that I know. I mean, they seem more like tendrils to me.
Yep.
But, they're beards of a kind.
Yeah, they look like beards, or like the beards that you see in the classical paintings of them are probably modeled after the kind of things dragons have, one way or the other. Like some of these, I don't know enough about this. But I don't think it's supposed to be actual hair on a dragon.
Probably not. Unfortunately, I don't know any East Asian dragons to ask. But if you know any Asian dragons, please let us know. I want to hear about them.
Yes, absolutely. Okay,
so
there's a bit. Mm-hmm. There's a bit where Marisha makes a bid for like the ring of protection, I think, or the armor, either or. And then Scanlan is like, all right, then you take it. I'll just die a lot. Marisha is like, oh no, then no, I feel bad. And then Taliesin is like, I wouldn't.
Yes. They also finally kind of talk about whatever happened in the Underdark, which Tiberius not joining,
they don't really talk about it, is the thing.
No, but they talk about it in character, which I think is more than happened before.
I mean, yeah, this is like one of only two. We are limiting ourselves to 2 Orion rants, and this is one of them, this episode. Yes. Putting my foot down. Because, he is still really into getting Scanlan's Circlet of Concentration in exchange for the Ioun Stone. Mm-hmm. Not the time for this rant, but Sam, who clearly doesn't give a shit about either of these items, just full out doesn't care. He does care about giving Tiberius a very hard time about this.
Yes, he does. Does he care about items? No. Does he care about giving Tiberius a hard time? Absolutely.
Yep. He is here to ruin this man's day. And finally brings up that Tiberius abandoned them in their hour of need. And the thing is, Orion then goes on this rant, which he starts off with, to be fair, gnome, which already, okay.
To give, like,
Strong
his
start.
full summation of, like, that, what he says is essentially, I never abandoned you, I was supervising, is essentially his thing. Like, I didn't abandon you, I just didn't participate because you didn't go with my plan.
Verbatim, I never abandoned the party at all. I wrote that out, which, fuck you fucked off and did the B-plot shit, taking yourself out of the damage equation, which led to Grog's fucking death, which we analyze in the really good episode about it, episode 11, with Lily. Go watch it. Or listen to it. He claims he was serving the situation. No.
No.
He wasn't serving anything. He was running for illicit Congress, I guess.
Yeah, and like if we take it for granted and like assume that he didn't, or like based on his, if we take his interpretation and say like, sure, he didn't actually abandon the party, he did, but like let's say that he didn't, he still didn't participate in the combat, and like that is the main thing that is important. He basically took his ball and went home, and that is literally what he's being criticized for again, is like, we're not going to give you high value items if you're not going to participate in combat. That is part of it.
Not even that,
know?
He's going to get the item, and he has an item in trade. He's just not being given an easy time, but he avoids and dodges any and all like responsibility or even a genuine talk about this. He goes on to say that he only kept out of the premises because his idea wasn't tried, which, like, yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't get to conditionally be in the party.
You read the Monster Manual, got scared, and then refused to participate because you didn't trust your DM and also valued your own character's life over the party.
Yeah, and also in-universe, like, taking this as, like, an in-universe argument, like, the problem here isn't that you didn't participate. The problem isn't that you left physically the party. The problem is that you can't conditionally be a party member. You can't, have all the value of being a party member and using the party funds, but
robbing the party without asking them first for his own bag of holding that he fully doesn't intend on sharing. Yeah,
you can't conditionally have all the benefits of being a party member, but also conditionally fight. I mean, like, you can't say, like, I will fight for you when it suits me, but I will have all the benefits of being a party member. Like, if you are taking all the benefits, you also have to take all the not benefits and, like, all the cons, I guess, all the dangers. And, like, part of that means fighting even when you disagree with the plan being made. Like, that is, otherwise you're just abandoning the party to die. And, like, that is what he did.
Yeah, this is, like, probably the most infuriating thing that I wish somebody had, like, called him out on. He claims he returned to save everyone's life, which is really rich, considering Grog fucking died.
Also, he didn't save anyone's lives. Like, they literally already killed Kamarn. Like, sure.
They had already identified the problem.
Yes. They were like, you just got the killing blow. Like, they had already done the thing. Like, now they are just, like, finishing things off. Like, that's not saving the party's lives. They would have been fine.
Yeah. So that's the first Tiberius rant for this episode. The second one is coming up later. Way later. Let's go to way more fun parts.
Percy wants to do tinkering.
Yes, gun talk.
I mean, like, the gun talk also doesn't talk very much, doesn't make a lot of sense for me either. They're just kind of, essentially, just mechanically, they're just saying, like, Percy wants to increase the ability, I think, to do repetitive shots so that it doesn't take that much time to reload.
A ricochet shot, he calls it. He says he wants to put a dent in one of Bad News' barrels so it can, like, hit someone, ricochet, and hit someone else, which
I don't think is possible.
I'm not good at physics, but I don't understand. But, like, I'm pretty sure that's not how any of that works.
It's not. And also, like, Matt very much tells him, like, you can do that, but that's going to increase the possibility, like, the likelihood of Bad News misfiring. And, like, Bad News misfiring is kind of a pain in the ass already. Yep. So he just decides instead that he's going to make an Asami glove.
Yep, that's like, he's going to make diplomacy.
Keep an eye on that for
later on. Yeah. It's like a week project, not one for this weekend.
Yes, and he's also going to make some arrows.
Arrows
for me, please.
Arrows. Vex gets super excited.
Yes, she claps.
It's really
She's
cute.
Excited. She wants arrows, please. And he does actually make her a couple of successful arrows. I think he makes her...
That's the main thing he makes.
I think one of them is like a grappling arrow with a star, I think.
An explosive arrow with a star. He gets, he makes a grappling hook arrow that is shown off this episode, and like 2 explosive arrows, I think, and 1 explosive arrow that he rolls natural 20 on, and the one gets a star.
Yes. I don't know. I like the star thing. I think it's cute. It also completely unintentional, but it reminds me of the whole 6 stars thing. So it's cute.
Oh my god!
It's cute.
Yes.
It's cute.
It's symbolism.
Nice. It's very cute. Regardless,
it is. They're so cute.
Yes.
Yes. This is where after Taliesin negotiates this with Matt, not the tinkering yet, but just what he plans to make. Mm-hmm. This is when Keyleth, Scanlan, and Tiberius just go right back into the shop.
Yep, they just go back in.
Like, okay, hi, welcome back.
Yes, just, we forgot the milk.
Pretty much.
I'm pretty sure Sam talked about this out of character with Matt before, because it feels that way.
Yeah, Gilmore seems to be way more amenable to this than to any suggestions of furthering enchantments that Tiberius has. To be fair, Tiberius also just drops a whole lot of mechanically impossible shit at him and goes into the beaded area without being invited there.
Yeah, and Sam is more asking for, like, a fun mechanical benefit to scrying.
Not even a real scry spell. It's just like... This is where the legendary blue sparkly poo stuff comes from, where he just shits somewhere and then can scry through the shit.
They don't this is why I think that he talked about this out of character with Matt before, because he doesn't actually say, can I have a spell that allows me to shit somewhere and then scry in that poop?
Yeah, Gilmore just understands what he means.
Just
and
gets
it's like, oh, you're into some weird shit. And like,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He definitely is.
And Keyleth is just looking for a book for, like, potion making.
Yeah, potion making for dummies. That's what she wants.
Yep.
And this time she actually gets it without, the previous having an argument with Sherry.
I mean, she doesn't really get a potion making book. It's just like a book on magical properties of ingredients or something. So she's like, which makes sense. Why would you sell a book that could undermine your business?
Yeah, and also, like, potion making is not, the easiest thing in the world. They talk about, like, making scrolls later, and, like, no, they're a lot harder to make than that.
Yeah, you don't just do one in an afternoon.
Nope, you do not. But they also managed to get, like... No, actually, they got this in the tome they got last episode. But she does actually get a hold of the book and spends the episode studying it. And I do think it comes up later. So, yay. Good for Keyleth. Good times for Keyleth. She gets to have an education that isn't, the Ashari telling her that she's the Avatar.
Yeah. And then we come to what was probably my favorite scene in this entire episode. Well, second favorite scene. We know what the favorite scene is. Second favorite scene in this entire episode.
Arrows, please, darling. Yes.
No, that's not that. We come to Vex meeting Karen, the dwarven blacksmith.
Oh,
and
yeah.
commissioning the boulette armor for Trinket.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not gonna say there's bisexual tension in this scene, but, like...
I am going to say it.
They are very like-minded. I will say that.
I have put this here. Like, I don't see how anyone can watch this scene and come off of it thinking Vex is entirely straight.
Yeah, she just really likes blacksmiths, huh? God, that is her
True!
type. That is such her type.
True!
God.
Wow!
She's so predictable. Yeah, she has not quite a flirt, but, like, she finds, like, a specialist armorer who makes, like, fancy, like, mostly decorative armor matches, but, like, some fun armor, too. And she wants their armor, and, like, Karen, who I'm imagining, I imagine it's probably spelled, like, Keren, but, like, I'm imagining it full, like, Karen, like a Karen.
I think it's... I've wrote it like Karen the meme, because it's funny to me, but I think it's actually spelled with an I, like a Naruto character who is the strong number 1 on female characters treated with the least dignity in the entire franchise.
Oh, boy. You're gonna have to tell me about that later.
I already did many times, but sure.
But yes... She's very excited to meet this armor. This armor is very excited to work on this friendly bear. It's vibes.
Vex is kind of sus when she starts this, like, just come outside with me.
Yeah.
You want to see this? And this woman just grabs a sword. And it's just like, Vex full on sounds like she's about to mug or abduct her.
Yeah, but, like, I I'd let her.
That is beside the point.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she shows her the bear. Karen is all scared. She gets her to pet the bear. It's fun. I mean, like, I don't know if it's intentional or not to be bisexual vibes, but like, I say yes to this. I say yes to this.
Yes.
It's cute.
I say yes to this too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a little bit like Kima and Tofor last episode, right?
Yeah,
Just
it's
game
vibes.
recognizing
It's
game.
vibes. Yes.
Game recognizing game.
Game recognizing game. Also, I get to put this
and
on
also,
my pinboard of times Vex has a thing for blacksmiths.
And also, what I really appreciated is that to seal the deal, and like Vex kind of made this poor woman make the armor in 2 days, and then haggled for the price, which
Winks.
Okay, they are short on money at this point, and she paid for it out of her own pocket. So yeah. Yeah. And then the dwarven woman, like Karen, just spits in her hand before they shake on it, and Vex does this too without even missing a beat.
Yes. I also like how, like, when she has to convince her to, like, come outside, she says, like, you're gonna want to see this. And then, like, Matt kind of plays her as unconvinced, and everyone else here was like, wink, 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 you gotta wink. It's just like,
yes!
She does it again.
And
She does it,
winks,
like, you're gonna want to see this. Wink.
Gonna want to see this.
Yep.
Which suddenly sounds like still some sort of abduction, but now
Still.
a sexy one.
But, like, again, you're gonna want to let her. Like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get abducted, but, like, it's gonna be a fun one. Speaking of weird pronunciations.
Oh yeah.
Serenray.
When they start figuring out their downtime activities. Percy tinkers and makes the arrows we mentioned. Vex is following Pike to a temple where Pike does like prayers to mend the rift with her goddess, which in this case makes sense. In the cartoon,
Yeah, because she did slit someone's throat.
That.
She did slit someone's throat with a rusty implement.
Yeah, I was very tempted to shit in a bed. So,
yeah.
I understand where this comes from here. In the cartoon, it's no.
But we have a much longer episode about that.
Yes.
So
Also, fun fact, Vax still had a broken foot, like a melted foot, and just had that the entirety of his date with Gilmore.
That's true. I'd like to think that Vax's melted foot is like very much like have you ever had like so this might be like a dog thing, I don't know if cats do this also, like with dogs, sometimes they'll have like a genuine injury, like an actual, like Leo does this a lot, like my dog Leo. They'll have like a genuine injury and they'll limp on it, and then they'll like realize that like, oh, I get attention from this. Oh, I like this. I get attention. And then they limp intentionally so you pay attention to them.
Of course Leo does this. This
yeah.
doesn't surprise me at all. This dog is an attention whore. He's dog
such an attention
whore. Gets involved vocally every time we talk while he's in the room. Every time. He doesn't he's insanely jealous of me.
He likes to be the center of attention. He's very needy.
Literally, he stands on tables.
This is what I'm imagining Vex is doing at this point. Like, it's strange how the melted foot hasn't come up in combat, huh?
I mean, he has a cloak for the advantage, which is totally how that works.
Yes. But his foot. Oh, he needs to go pray about it.
I have 3.5 toes.
Stumpy.
But I'm sneaky as fuck. Yeah. And then we cut from...
That's the vibes I'm getting from this.
Yeah. So after Pike gets enlightenment and heals Vax fully, so we don't have to deal with this anymore, Liam actually holds up its naked foot onto the camera on the iPad, which is also a Twitch Terms of Service violation, I think.
No free feet pics.
But it exists. It exists.
It's probably on a wiki somewhere.
I don't know, it might be blurry enough not to be.
Yeah. Anyway.
But we know it was there in spirit.
Percy.
And after that is when we get to the best scene of the episode.
Yes. I won't even haggle with your Percy. I'll just give it to you.
You know what I mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yes.
Do you, Percy? Do you really? Either way, do you really?
Goes a bit beyond winking.
That's what Vax says from the ether.
From the ether. Mm-hmm. Yes. Percy gives Vex her arrows. He asks for a little bit of money. And she just gives it to him, and you know what else she gives it to him? Big, beautiful smooch.
Yes, come here, you beautiful bastard, she says, and gives him, and that was a full frontal smooch. She will do cheek smooches more often than not up until they get together, but this one was full frontal.
She doesn't specify a lot of times if it's a cheek smooch or a full frontal smooch. We just sort of have to speculate. She just says, like, at one point, like, I kiss her right on the face, which, like, the face is a lot of things. The face is a lot of things. But yeah, this is a full frontal kiss smooch. And he's surprisingly unfazed by it. He's a little bit phased by it. He's a little phased, but his main thing is that he made his way through siblings.
Getting to kiss everyone in this game.
He says, not knowing what he's up for.
Not knowing how goddamn true that is.
Yep. Not knowing that pretty much everyone except Grog takes a turn.
And Grog was absolutely considering it.
Grog was considering it.
Or 2 points. At least 1 point.
Yes. Kiss this boy. Yeah. But there is a full frontal lip smooch, and it is very good. It's very cute.
Yep. It's very, very cute. Also, I want to point out that after this is the second time Vex tells him to do something, and he immediately does it.
Yeah.
With a crit.
He's a very obedient guy.
Yep.
When Vex tells him, he does it with a crit.
Mm-hmm. And that's how we get the arrow with the star.
Yes. When Vex says jump, he says how high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then we get to another fun little interlude, which is, which does give us a weird gnome racism scat thing, so whatever.
Yeah. The Grog and
Grog is going to a pub to ask about a horde of Goliaths, because he's following up on the plot beat we just missed out on with Zenroar, whose name I know, remember, and will never forget again.
Never! You're gonna be on your deathbed in like 100 years, in like a futuristic cyberpunk, and they're just gonna, like, and you're gonna, your last words as you whisper will be, Zenroar.
And it is all your fault.
It is all my fault.
Yes. So he tries asking about that. He is not very successful.
Mm-hmm. But, you know who is successful?
Mm-hmm.
Is Scanlan, who rolls a 28.
A 28 intimidation, jumping on a table threatening to kill everybody if they don't answer Grog's question immediately.
Yes. He's gonna kill everybody in this last fucking place.
Yep.
Like a rabid little gnome.
So in that tavern, they first get information from like a local farmer who's like, no Goliaths around here, what? And then like someone from outside of the town comes to them who's also like an older adventurer kind of dude in his 40s or something, who is like, yeah, there's a roving band of barbarians in the north from here, pretty far away. And then he's also like, says, I usually shit on gnomes, but you seem to be alright. And Scanlan takes this positively.
Ugh.
And buys him a drink.
Don't reward him.
Which, like, that's a pretty weird kink to have, my dude, my guy.
Yeah, but not his weirdest, admittedly.
I mean, for the other dude, for Scanlan has this kink, we know. I mean, whatever.
Yes. This is a weirdly bisexual, this is a very bisexual episode. This is also very bisexual.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, this is also like a bisexual episode for Scanlan, where we get to see a little bit of a Panlin thing going on.
Oh, yeah. Not here, necessarily, but later.
Later. With Captain Damon. Well,
yep.
I can't help but imagine it's Matt Damon, right?
I don't know. We'll talk about him when we get to him.
Yes.
Because for now, Scanlan is also going to Gilmore's to pick up his potion, which comes with the other thing we've written up in the content warnings.
Yeah.
Where everyone figures out that what Scanlan is like doing, and he's very out of character. He's very indignant about how dare you suggest that I would spy on Pike, the love of my life and future wife, with her pantaloons down.
I think it's also like very telling that like Vex is the one to like hold him accountable for this, which gives me leader Vex vibes of just like
it's just always what it is.
It's always Vex.
Also, Laura is always first to point out the really fucked up shit. We also see another example of this episode.
Yes, so this is. I like the fact that she calls him out on it. I don't like where it leads.
No, but yeah. And it's also just, he's like, have I ever spied on a member of our current party? And she's just like, yes. Yes,
you have while they were changing. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was Pike.
So that's a thing.
So that's a thing that's now going to be addressed and is going to come up.
And also, I'm pretty sure Pike would just pull her pants down for you if you asked.
Yeah, that's the thing about Pike. Like, you don't need to spy on Pike. Pike
You do not.
is so down to just be naked.
She's so down to just be naked. She spends the entire fight naked.
Yeah.
Naked with gauntlets.
Naked with gauntlets. She does not care. You could just ask it. And we've talked about this before. But I think that we did mention off recording that, like, as we know that before the stream started, Vax also spied on Pike naked.
Yep, which is even more pointless.
Especially Vax could just ask to see her junk and she would let him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pike is always down for like you show me yours, I'll show you mine, you know?
Yep. And also,
He's
just like for the
sailor.
record.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which she is very keen to mention this episode too. And for the record,
Yes, she is. It's
I
cute.
think if Scanlan had been less weird about it and less pushy, he could have been fucking Pike this entire time. She would have been down for like
He
a friends with
could've.
benefits type. Like, seriously.
Yes.
Just be less weird
They
about it.
wouldn't be in a relationship, but like she would be down.
She would be down.
She's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put her on a pedestal. Just ask her if she wants to, you know.
It's not what he wants, admittedly, but
No, because he's very much putting her on a pedestal.
that too,
stage,
yes.
Or he's as this maiden figure that he needs to woo, which like nobody needs to woo Pike. Pike is not the wooing type.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, Vex picked up her armor and now Trinket has a bit of a roly-poly look to him.
Yeah, he does. I think this isn't quite where she's training him to how to
Not yet,
roly-poly.
that's coming up in the week they have before the Briarwoods.
But it definitely starts to put the seed in her mind of just like, ooh, I could do something with this. But he's very cute. He's got his full armor now, which is very cute and roly-poly.
Yes.
He's a good bear. I love him. And that pretty much concludes their weekend.
It does. Matt tells a story you mentioned like 2 episodes ago about how they originally assumed Dagon was a boy, but she was actually a girl bird.
Yes, because he keeps to Trinket as a female, and Vex keeps correcting him that he is in fact a male bear. Look at his balls; they are right there.
Oh God.
I will admit that I've never seen a bear's balls. Never looked for them myself. They don't seem to be quite, they're not out in the open.
Yeah, I never really paid much attention to bear genitalia.
It's not, you don't see it very easily. Like, even when a bear, like, stood up on its hind legs, it's just kind of all fuzz down there. Like, they're very polite about it. It's all hidden away. Sorry, I actually just read a thing about mole genitalia, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Thank you.
So he is used to referring to something that he thought to be a male and a feminine pronoun. So because Dagon
matters with animals, but hey,
no, but it's a cute story about how like Dagon, they got her and they thought originally she was a male and she was a little female parakeet.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. No, I just have to remember Marisha being in tears at the beginning of the Familiar Problem one shot. God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are done with the weekend. Orion makes Allura do his menial labor. Like, okay, Tiberius, what he wants to do is to enchant another earring so they have enough for the party, but he can't finish the enchantment, so he gives it to Allura to finish while they're gone, which she is very polite about, not telling him that she is not here for menial labor. She's a literal professional, but hey.
It's just
he pays her with a prestidigitated flower.
Doesn't it feels so like, hey, can you get coffee for the table, Like, it feels like, oh, you're probably not doing anything else relevant, right? Can you finish this for me, sweetheart?
Yeah, she's actually already doing him a favor by putting in the teleportation circle and the key.
Yeah, like, how about you fuck clean up?
It's going to be completely irrelevant. So completely, is this teleportation circle ever getting used outside of getting Tiberius out of there while Matt is playing the character?
No, but also, like, God, thank that. There is nothing more precious to me than that teleportation circle. Because that is the teleportation through which Tiberius exits the party forever.
Yes.
He just goes into that teleportation circle and never comes back, and, like, God bless it. That should be a sacred monument.
I have a matching German saying for this.
Yes.
Geh mit Gott aber flott.
Ooh, that sounds like a fun one.
I think I mentioned it before. It's go with God, but hurry the fuck up. Put that on a t-shirt, Critical Role. I dare you.
Well, that's good. Alright. You've written here that at this point Ryan is pretty much dead certain on Kima and Laura being a thing.
Yes, and I'm like, and as much as I will say that this is the one positive thing he contributed to Critical Role at large, it also feels like part of his persecution complex.
Oh, it definitely is. It absolutely is, and it feels like specifically
In a
because
few
he's
episodes.
being so against it that it's just like seals it in Matt's mind of like, and this is absolutely happening.
Matthew Mercer is a very gracious, forgiving, kind person. To a fault.
To a fault.
The only person I've ever even, have heard him hint at being petty and or bitter towards is Orion.
Yeah, every person that you'll talk to has only ever sung Matt's praises.
Yeah, there's an ancient panel from very, very early on, just after Orion left the show, where Matt sounds actively mad at him for if you know how he usually talks about people, even the ones he doesn't like and who don't deserve it.
Yes.
He's positively livid. Still very nice about it. Yes.
And I have my own theories about why that is. Part of it is possibly because there's something that we do not know about, and we should not intervene about or speculate about. But we do know that in some way, something definitely happened between Orion and Marisha specifically.
Yep.
And I can definitely see Matt being the kind of person who would not be very angry for himself. But
he will not fight his own battles at what he has his wife for, but he will fight for his wife.
Yes, definitely. I would be shocked if it isn't the case that is part of it.
Yeah, that, and just remember when Tiberius posted, sexy fan out of Tiberius and Laura. Well, he reposted it or something and was like, this is what happened before he left, and Matt is like, absolutely not!
Matt wrote about that being a drug-induced fantasy that Tiberius had while masturbating.
Did he actually write that? Oh my god!
I have to find it, but that is what I remember him saying.
Which then begs the questions, how do Dragonborn masturbate? But we have talked enough about genitalia so far. Anyways, if Allura wasn't intended to be bisexual before, and with Kima before, that is what sealed it.
Yeah, part of it's definitely the prosecutions, the various
persecution complex, yes.
Persecution complex of him being such a whiny baby about it is okay, so now it has to happen. Sorry, you've sealed the deal. It's going to happen.
Yep. Wasn't intended to be a slight against you, but now it fucking is.
Now it fucking is. Anyway, they get Bahamut babysitters.
Yeah, just 2 people who are there within 2 days. We don't really know how they got there, because the airship journey takes longer. There's no teleportation out of Vasselheim.
I don't remember one of the names, but they do mention later that one of the keepers of box, the Bahamut box that they get, is named after a critter who was very ill at the time and was in recovery, I think.
Oh yeah, right.
Them, but it was a tribute to them,
which
which is very cute.
Okay.
It's very nice.
Now you're making me feel bad. I'm looking up the names.
No, I also don't remember their name. I'm sorry. It's Varen,
Vorak and Desona.
I remember the V.
Yeah, Vorak is the one who's very ill.
Oh, yes. That makes a lot of sense because I was confused about something later on in this episode. Later on in the episode, Percy knocks on a door and says Desona. And I was like, who the fuck is Desona?
The other one.
So now we know who Desona is.
Okay. Now I have to...
Percy, speaking of Percy...
Everyone introduces themselves diplomatically. Okay, Vorak seems to have survived this.
Yay!
Maybe. He hasn't been active on Twitter since 2017, but that's... No, 19, okay. Okay, Vorak hasn't been active on Twitter since 2019, but he has been a very, sparsely active here. Anyways, he just month. And he definitely lived beyond this episode, so... This is all I needed. Thank you.
Maybe, yes. Thank you very much for the... It could be that he's just not on Twitter anymore, which, if so...
Good for him!
Good for him. Regardless, Percy gets his own name wrong.
Vorak and Desona. Yep, he's very firmly in the Kowalski stage instead of the Klosowski stage, and he misses up the order.
What did he say?
Percival Fredrickson Kowalski DeRollo something the third or something.
Oh,
he messes up like one or two names. I don't remember how exactly what he does.
Percival Fredrickstein von Musel Kowalski DeRollo III.
That's the correct one.
It feels correct, doesn't it?
I think he mixes up the Kowalski, which should be a Klosowski, and the DeRollo.
No, is he say DeRollo Kowalski?
Something like that. I don't know. No, I also will say that both Kowalski and Klosowski are, first of all, a completely different culture setting, but also the DeRollo sounds Dutch and the other one is Polish. And
yes, this is true.
Like Von Musel and DeRollo sound kind of Germanic Dutchish.
Yes, and
Kowalski
Von Musel...
Klosowski is very Polish, and that also sounds like... I mean, this might just be because of cultural stereotypes we have about Polish people and many people having Polish last names around here, blah, 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 blah. But it also isn't a name you would usually associate with, like, No, I'm going to stop the sentence here because I haven't looked up names of Polish royalty, so I will now stop this. But at least in modern association where I'm from, this wouldn't be a name you would pick for, like, a noble character. Which I have nothing to back up with, and I'm sorry about that. I will look into Polish nobles before we have the next recording. Thank you very much.
We also don't have to go very far because Fredrickstein is just a complete bullshit name.
Yeah! Frederick, fine, Steen, what?
What?
It's just, he has 4 last names.
That's not a patronym.
I mean, if you just take a name and put a Steen to it, like, first of all, it means stone or a drinking thing in the English language for some reason.
You could retroactively defend it and say, like,
maybe it's like... Is it a Frankenstein reference?
Maybe it's a Frankenstein reference. It's probably a Frankenstein reference.
That's how you pronounce it, really?
But, like, to be honest... No, I say Frankenstein.
Frankenstein sounds so much spookier.
That is a point in Young Frankenstein. I hope you know that.
What?
That is a point in the movie Young Frankenstein. He pronounces it Frankenstein.
Oh.
It's Frankenstein. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. You can retroactively defend it and say, like, maybe it's related to the White Stone, like, it's something stone. But, like, no, he pulled that one out of his ass, I think. I think Fredrickstein is out of his ass.
Yep. Could just easily have been Frederick's son.
Yes.
Which I think it would be more the vibes anyways. But hey.
But we're not here to denigrate that. We'll have a much better opportunity to do that. Kiba, got a wardrobe change.
You should just get Bahamut armor, and what did she do with the gold armor she pillaged out of the Underdark? We don't know. Seems like something she could have given back to the party or given to Craghammer.
I think she should keep it. I think she suffered enough.
Yeah, fine.
She earned it.
I don't even think she does keep
Probably not. But, like, she gets to do with it whatever she wants to. She's earned it.
Yeah.
Mark it down.
Then,
the first and only time to date that Sam remembered which twin go to do what, and also we can't know for certain that this is Sam remembering because
true,
he could just be going with whatever twin is not on camera. It's not on an iPad.
Yeah, that might also just be very well it. But he goes to Vex to ask her if they trust these people, and then they make a plan that they each like shadow and try to sweet talk one of the Bahamut babysitters, and this plan doesn't survive first contact with Captain Damon.
Nope. The plan is specifically he's going to get the girl and she's going to get the guy, and yes, this did make me feel very weird. Especially this being such a bisexuality episode, this felt like, ugh.
I mean, honestly, that adds to it, doesn't it?
It does, but like, you can't tell me that, like, I mean, there's some equality in like how Vex says it, like, I think I texted you, it was like, equality, I guess, but also like the way that Scanlan immediately jumps in to be like, I'll get the girl. It's like,
Scanlan saying he's get the girl, and also later when he pats down a female character to check for weapons, it immediately feels scummy.
Gross. I hate crime. Anyway, they then meet Captain Damon, who, if I recall, I don't think Matt ever described as being hot.
No, he doesn't, but he's a captain of an airship, and that's enough for, well, Vex and Scanlan.
The entire party, weirdly enough. Also Pike.
Especially Vex and Scanlan,
but like, it seems like the table just sort of unanimously decides, like, oh yeah, he's hot, right? He's hot? He's a hot guy.
It's the name. It's in the name. Like, Damon is like the one most cliched name you give to your bad boy character.
It is. Because it sounds like demon or whatever. It's such a bad boy name.
Yeah. Like, I consider the name to be kind of funny, actually. No offense if you yourself are called Damon. No offense to you or your parents.
Some offense.
Condolences if your parents named you after the Vampire Diaries character, and condolences to us if you're old enough for that.
Yeah. Condolences to us. We know who Damon Vampire Diaries is. Not that I was ever into the Vampire Diaries, but, like, I think my sister read those books.
I was only ever into the Vampire... Okay, I was only ever into the Vampire Diaries video by Jenny Nicholson, and I watched exactly one episode because friends of mine were into it at the time, and I was like, but if they're in the Tudor era right now, why are they all wearing Victorian gowns?
Because that's what they found.
Because the showrunners just didn't know any better and or didn't care. And that was just like how I ruined the episode for everyone else, because 17-year-old me was like that.
Yes. Anyway, Captain Damon. Captain Damon just sort of is unanimously decided to be hot. And Scandal immediately asks him if he's single or not.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, also, like, Pike is very, very eager to be like, oh, we heard so many of your adventures, and we are like, I'm also from a ship and I can totally help. She also seems to be into him.
Yeah, I think Pike is a combination of just wanting, of like, him being hot and also just wanting to prove her stuff and be like, I know this, I've done this, I'm a sailor, let me help.
Airship, watership, what's the difference, really?
What's the difference, really? But it also is very much that he's hot. I also think I have the interpretation of Captain Damon being, like, the only heterosexual in Taldore. He just is so confused about Scanlan asking if he's single or not that it's just like...
He might just be asexual, honestly.
He might be asexual.
Does he go for Vex later on?
I don't think
Vex
so.
Very,
I don't think Captain Damon goes for anyone. He might be...
Yeah.
Captain Damon is an ace pilot.
Yep.
We'll go with that.
Declared here.
We declared it here.
Mm-hmm.
Airways King
also,
Damon.
Really, really cute. While we're at the shipping... There's so much shipping this episode. What's happening? But while we're at it, Keelan is super excited and walks up to every edge she can find, and then Grog dangles her off of it very enthusiastically so she can feel like what it's like to be flying, and they just doing their thing, leading Captain Damon to facepalm, and it's just very, very cute.
It's taking everything within me not to make a comment about how much shipping there is in this episode when they are on an airship, taking an item from one place to another. Anyway, yes, they do. Grog holds Keyleth while she leans over the railing and feels the wind on her face and yells about how she's flying, and it's very cute. I think later on they reverse this.
Yeah, but with Pike.
Oh, with Pike, yes, Pike holds it.
Yes.
But it's cute.
Yes. Also, this is like, you could see this entire episode as foreshadowing for Keyleth's ungood tendency to fling herself from dangerous heights.
Yes. Yes, it is. She is an Airshari, after all.
Yeah, but sometimes she forgets about that part, huh?
Yes, she does. But yeah, there's much is done about how she is... Captain Damon is very unsafe about this, and eventually calls everyone to bed. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. As soon as they start to depart, Laura asks how Trinket was brought on board.
Yeah, Trinket just...
Which Matt describes...
gets on a cargo elevator, basically.
They actually move him the same way they move, like, cows and horses. They just put a sling under him and carry him by crane.
Yep.
Which is very funny. He's a very sad bear.
He makes worried bear noises.
Oh, buddy.
Also, there's a selfie staff incident.
Yeah. To which Matt threatens to give disadvantage for the next 3 rolls, which, like, I don't think it is deserving of the selfie stick incident, but, like, it is deserving of other things.
He deserves this, but not for this particular infraction? Is that the word?
Not for this particular crime.
Yeah, that one. Transgression.
Misdemeanor.
The words I'm looking for
Transgression.
is transgression, and I don't know how I got to infraction. Is this like a thing? I don't know. I had a migraine today. My brain is not up to date.
Yes, we've been recording for 2 hours.
That too. God.
So they all hop on board the ship. I can't remember what the ship's name is.
Dressa or something. It's like a Desona is that was just a German breakthrough.
Quiz.
Shush. I have the wiki article open. Well, not the wiki, it's the Mirahe's something, the new one.
Anyway, they take a break here.
Dira.
Dira?
Dira is the name of the ship, which is a little confusing because the halfling they ship up later on is called Dira. they pick up later on.
Oh, Matt's just having a D name day.
It's a T. It's the same name, but
Dira.
one with a D and with a T. Dira the ship with Tira the
That's gonna be a
halfling.
problem. And Desona, the
Bahamut person.
So this is the whole thing. By the way, they put the Horn of Orcus in this Bahamut box that like locks, and they keep it in a specific storage area of the ship. This will come up later.
Like, there's just a room where Kima and the other two paladins hang out around the box. What a fulfilling job.
Alrighty.
And
Percy
take a
and
break.
Keela 3 together.
Yeah, then they first take a break. We finally get to see the intro that they skipped at the beginning of the episode, and the uncensored backstories again.
Yes. Yes, we do.
And we return.
Then they come back. They give an update about the giveaway.
Yes, and they have opened up the bottle of alcohol they received, and Pike is kind of miming, feeding it to... No, Ashley is miming. I usually mess it up the other way around, but this time it's actually Ashley miming, feeding this to Liam over the iPad. Though they would also do this in character.
Yes, they would. Pickle bean real.
Pickle bean real.
So we start, actually, I think, Matt says they're about 2 days into the voyage when we pick back up.
I mean, I think they're 3 days in when they get attacked, but they have, like, downtime during this, in which Percy reads and Keyleth makes scrolls, so they kind of read her potion book together, and it's cute. It's not we never talk anymore, we never do, but it's cute.
It's them being nerds together. It's their bonding method.
Yeah, or they would if not for the fact that Vax just kind of shadows Keyleth the entire time.
Yes. They talk about because Vax volunteers to help with any scroll making she needs, which I honestly found to be not as obnoxious as other things, because it's just like him being helpful, which is nice.
Yeah, he also suggests that you build like a steampunk rocket pack for Trinket, while Keyleth makes like a polymorph scroll for Trinket so they can transform it into something easier to carry around.
To which I'm pretty sure Percy says that he's working on it.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
And he never did,
I'm working on it.
He never did make that, but like...
We don't know that.
Stop being necessary. We don't know that, you're right.
He might just
you
make
can
it
still
for the
be
hell of
working
it
on
by
it
now.
to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And Grog and Pike are doing the Titanic.
Yes, where Grog is like, I'm the king of the world and I'm flying, and she holds him up by the calves or something.
Yes, because she's buff as hell.
Look at the guns on that gnome, is what Vax and or Liam say.
Possibly both.
Mm-hmm. Very likely both. Again, pickle bean real.
So yeah, Vax does help spend all his time in the boat being Keel's little manservant, helping her out with things. And like, it is kind of obnoxious, but like, at least he's helping.
Yeah, at least he's doing something useful. Vex calls him out on it, sort of, which is this is a nice parallel to when he was like, this goes a little bit beyond winking when she was with Percy early on.
Vex
like,
is just...
Wow!
Vex is just... I will say that, like, as much as Vex is mean to Keyleth about this, she also kind of likes to slut-shame Vex a little bit.
Yeah.
My brother, who is already involved with one person, should you be having a conversation about polyamory, perhaps?
Huh.
She does not say this.
No, she doesn't.
What she says is, I thought you were into Gilmore, darling.
And then he's like, I'm hard to pin down, which I don't think is actually true, literally, but oh well.
He's remarkably easy to pin down.
I mean, okay, if he's into it, to be fair. He's kind of quick. While everyone else is doing downtime activities, Vex is just shadowing the captain. Which was not the plan, but her and Scanlan is also doing this, but they have just completely forgot that they had a plan to check out the other two people.
They completely have forgotten it. They have no recollection of this. They're just thirsty on Maid for this guy who Matt has never described as handsome.
No, very little description went into this dude, but he's called Damon, he flies an airship, he is hot.
He is hot. They've decided. They've talked about this, it is decided.
And then they get attacked by Wyvern and also a griffin riding bandits.
Yes, I was very curious about the fact that it's not just Wyverns, but a griffin also. It feels like a weird, like, those stables must be very weird.
I mean, also, like, just the circumstances that the halfling they pick up, Tira, describes in the end is like, so you live on an impoverished island where you don't have dental care, and apparently also no showers, but you have wyverns and a griffin tamed and trained to catch you when you fall to ambush airships. I mean,
I want to see this island.
Yeah, it sounds like you could make a living with that
Like,
better than trying to capture airships.
I mean, maybe you could make like a cool circus troupe. Seems like a good option.
At the very least, you could fly one of these things to a better place to live than this apparently horrible island.
Yes.
So
just like the draconian airfish in here.
Yes, but more ethical because as far as we know, they don't involve slavery.
Nope, none that we know of. And then we get to see the pretty drawing Matt made.
I will once again cross
pretty
myself
drawing.
for the fact that we never had to deal with the slavery part while Orion was still on the show. Cross myself twice.
Oh, thank God.
I'm Catholic like that.
But yes, pretty drawing.
Pretty drawing
by Matt.
The airship drawing is so
Remember
pretty.
Remember that time where you said that when he was like in high school, he would make dirty drawings for money?
Yeah.
It's now the only thing I can think of whenever he has like a hand-drawn map. I'm like, oh, yay. Those dirty drawing skills came up handy.
You used to draw boobs.
Now you draw boob crevasses.
Yeah. It's a very pretty map. It's so pretty. It gets the job done. I mean, I know, but by now we have actual airships to put the characters on for fights, but this is pretty.
That you can open and look at them.
Yeah.
But they're charming. They're cute and they're handmade and they're nice.
They do what they can.
Zach walks behind Matt and he doesn't close the door after him.
Yeah, and sometimes during Vex's first turn, he just walks in, leaves the door open, and then walks out again and closes it, and I was very irritated by this. Like, just, what? Why do you walk on set during the show? Is this an emergency? Is this kind of like the time he randomly hung out with his butt just in frame?
So, essentially this combat is most of the rest of it. We could probably just do the highlights.
I mean, it is pretty cinematic combat. It involves a lot of really cool strategies and ways to take these wyverns out.
Oh yeah, and like the combat, the field itself is very dynamic. At some point they kind of knock the ship askew. Everything moves, they Star Trek it out. Everyone like tilts to the side.
Yeah, at one point, which is really funny considering what happened in recent Critical Roles for Campaign 3 episodes, one of the bandits just takes like a spear to one of the magical crystals and just gets it to like damages it that way.
Yes.
Which like, wow, that's fucking flimsy. Shouldn't you be covering these things up? Ooh.
Maybe you should have like a little hubcap over it or something. I don't know. Can you like cover it? Throw a tarp over it. Just don't make it so obvious.
Yeah, anything.
Don't have just a crystal. Don't have like a loose crystal running around. Like, what if somebody like this seems like it could very easily end up in like an albatross situation where somebody accidentally shoots it.
Yeah, or just what do you do when it starts hailing? So, an element of this fight is that it is really fucking nasty because you are fighting at a very high altitude, and they just. I mean, the bandits start establishing this by just chugging one crew member off board, and so the party just does the same to the bandits.
That crew member dies.
He just dies.
Crew member is dead.
Like,
they do not catch him.
No, they do not catch him. I mean, I'm not entirely sure they could have.
Yeah, I don't think they could have either. It's not an Orm situation. Campaign 3 spoilers.
Okay, no.
But yes, that crew member just dies.
No, Tiberius could have totally flown after him. I mean, but they don't try it.
But would he have? Tiberius is too busy being nasty in return.
Yeah, everyone is kind of nasty in this combat. Like, shout out to Keyleth takes out 2 wyverns, and one of them by turning him into a bunny rabbit.
I actually kind of went on like a mental rabbit hole. I never actually figured out if this was possible or not, about whether that wyvern would die or not.
It would. It's a goldfish scenario. So the bunny rabbit has like a hit point. It plummets down. It hits the water surface for however many falling damage dice we have, which are probably a lot. I think we're in the realm of the one Keyleth took when she fell. And so the bunny is the goldfish. It takes 1 point of damage until the bunny form pops, and then the wyvern takes the rest of the damage because, like, it can't fly until it takes that point of damage, so there's no way to not hit terminal velocity and die.
But I do wonder if, like, this didn't happen, and this also didn't happen with the keyfish situation, so I don't think this... I'm not faulting Matt for ruling it the way that he did, but I am wondering if, like, just the act of plummeting that far as a rabbit, would that kill a rabbit?
It might. This is what happens when you take friction in physics class every time you try to calculate something. Is there enough air friction to take a point of damage?
That's a good question, and also, like, I think rabbits might just die of shock.
Right.
But that's just specific about rabbits. But yeah, I do wonder about that. Like, it is an interesting thought experiment. don't think about it too hard because you'll get sad. But, like, no, Matt does actually rule if the wyvern dies, and, like, fair. I think that's a fair ruling.
Let's just, go with that. Like, everyone can kind of get sad that she just totally killed a bunny rabbit, except for Taliesin, who's like, it's the least innocent thing she has killed so far.
And he's not wrong.
She killed less innocent things,
they killed the other two riders, for sure.
Yeah, the bunny rabbit rider is really cool and just grappling onto the ship. But it's, dies anyways. I think this is the one that Grog shrugs off eventually.
Yes.
Both twins take poison damage from wyverns attacking them. Scanlan managed to avoid it at one point by applying cutting words.
Yeah, I found this to be really fun. Pike at some point runs to Vex to heal her, and I was like, oh yeah, Pike's a healer. And then she just sort of hands her a healing potion.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very funny. I was like, you're not gonna...
I'll save you
do cure wounds or something?
Turn. No, she already had spent a spell slot, and
okay.
She already expended an action. So if she had healing word for this, she could have done this as a bonus action if we are in two spells per turn cast on if one of them is below 2nd level or something. But I don't think she had that equipped that day, so she was out of options.
Yeah, it was just a little funny to me. I was just like, what?
Vex, I'll save you with this item you have to consume yourself.
Yes. It's just very funny. This is actually pre-Matt's ruling that drinking health potions is an action. I think he kind of solidifies this after this episode, or at least it was something that was like, not a firm ruling, because at some point he says that drinking a potion is a full action, and then like he basically goes back on it and is like, no, you can drink it.
Because this is like the one rule that no one has ever followed.
Nope, every single person I know has gone with Matt's ruling and like has officially adopted that feat that everybody gets of like being a fast drinker. Cause like
no, everyone just is like drinking a potion is a bonus action. Fuck off.
Yeah, feeding it to someone is an action. Drinking it is a bonus action. Come on. Let's be real. If it's just an action, you're just gonna get hit next round and take all that damage back.
I think, feeding someone else a potion being an action, I understand. That is a lot more involved.
I understand that too.
Especially
since it usually only happens with someone unconscious, so it makes more sense to me.
Also, like, with someone unconscious, be careful not to pull them into the wrong hole.
Yes,
especially because feeding right there.
Oopsie doopsie, oopsie daisy. But yeah, especially with feeding someone who is unconscious, a suppression is like, yeah, you need to focus on that job. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. What I really noticed about this combat too is that Matt got really, really animated. He was just full on moving, miming the flying movement, making sounds. Got like a full workout out of this combat scene, which was very fun to watch.
Yes, it was really fun. I know that so Tiberius's main plan this is to try to tear the wings off of a wyvern, which is like, sure. I think Vax succeeds in doing this. Oh, go ahead.
Because when we speak about what Tiberius does as combat, which is very little actually, I can go to my second Tiberius rant. Okay, so
go for it.
All he does uses telekinesis in this, which is a 5th level spell, but it's a concentration spell. Mm-hmm. Though I don't think does he take damage this episode? Maybe from falling. It's not really focused on, and it's fine, whatever. But he uses this constantly to do damage, which what you can do with telekinesis is you can move people with a check against their strength or objects with it. And I think crush or grab. Yeah, restrain. Yes. You can restrain. What he does is move people, like at one point he tries to skewer someone against the ballista, but somehow misses the fact that the ballista bolts would obviously be facing outwards and not inwards, so all he does is set a ballista off and waste ammo, which... miscommunication may be fine. What ticked me off was on a later turn when he used telekinesis to try and rip off the wyvern wing, which he apparently succeeds in, but only does 10 damage, which is odd, really odd. Like, if somebody partially succeeds in tearing off a limb from you, that should do more than 10 damage.
I really should.
But also,
I was thinking...
He also then just...
No, finish your point.
Yeah, he also then just sends 5 random sorcery points into the wind, we don't know what for, and says he casts telekinesis again, which Matt points out it's a concentration skill, so he doesn't have to. He couldn't, it's a second 5th level spell. And I will admit that, like, Quicken Spell, which you spend 2 points for, gives you, turns an action spell into a bonus action. So doing this is a second telekinesis thing to do. Understandable ruling. Fine. But what Tiberius does here is say he pulls 8 daggers from his pouch.
This is what annoyed me too.
And then proceeds to attack the wyvern with those. With 8 daggers and 1 bonus action. Let me remind you.
He also doesn't roll to hit with them.
I think he does, but he just hits with all of them. I think he does roll a spell attack check to hit with them, and then he rolls damage for 4 of them. But let me remind you...
I mean, I don't know.
Let me remind you that Vax hasted gets 3 daggers per round, and one of those is a bonus action. And Tiberius just gets to throw 8 of them and hit with 4 and do the damage for that in 1 bonus action. And it's like, I understand why we're not fighting him on this, because his combat had already dragged on for a long while at that point, but Jesus fucking Christ. Things like this that make him think he can get away with everything.
Yeah, like, there's just, I too felt, I don't know, it felt like if you're going to throw 8 daggers at once, you should roll, like, individually, I guess. I don't know, maybe he did roll individually. But also, like, 8 daggers at once with 1 telekinesis spell feels ridiculous and also, like, isn't in your forte.
No!
Like,
no, it's not.
Have you practiced this?
The telekinesis spell also doesn't really, like... I suppose when it says you can move someone, it never says you do so with force and or velocity. Like, some force is involved, yes, but the right amount of force to throw things with it seems a little bit like not what the spell is supposed to do. If you, like, move someone up slowly and then drop them, that's fine. Even moving someone against something to cause damage, also fine. But using a telekinesis spell to perform to perform an attack action with 8 weapons at the same time in a bonus action?
Yeah, this feels like, I don't know, like, we would, I mean, how would we feel if, like, somebody used a telekinesis spell to, like, pick up 8 rifles and shoot them, and, like, load them and shoot them all at the same time? Like, that doesn't feel right either, right?
Yeah, also, I think the spell says you can take an object. 1 singular. So...
Yeah.
Should have...
Also, like, I will say this also. Vax specifically has a belt full of daggers. Like, he can grab them from his belt.
Javier just pulls them out of his pouch where he has them for probably this reason.
Yeah, I mean, like, part of it is just, like, retrieving the 8 daggers with telekinesis, and it just feels like you shouldn't be able to do all of this in 1 turn, right?
He should be able to do exactly 1 dagger. I think pulling out a weapon that you possess is, like, 1 turn. Yeah.
Like, I can maybe be okay with him pulling out 8 daggers and then like, hitting 1 per turn, but, like, you don't get extra attacks.
You don't get more dagger attacks than the hastened rogue does per turn.
Yeah, otherwise it would be immensely broken.
Yeah.
Which it kind of is.
It is in this ruling, and I think this is the kinds of rulings that kind of embolden Tiberius and trying out weirder and weirder shit later on.
Also, like...
But again...
I don't know, I just kept sitting this entire combat and thinking, like, man, didn't you prepare... And you're a sorcerer, you get new spells every day, right?
No.
No?
As a sorcerer, you get a very limited amount of spells, and you're stuck with those spells.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was just wondering if he has never prepared a damaging spell.
No, he has damaging spells. I mean, good thing he didn't cast Fireball on a wood ship. Like, congratulations on that one.
I honestly do think that, like, I think this might have been a pretty good, like, not while they're on the ship, but, like, while one of the wyverns is in the air, that would have been a pretty good opportunity to use a...
But why do anything like we have before wondered if this man possesses a single damaging cantrip? Apparently not.
That's a good point.
But why
Probably
would you
not.
do anything normal when you could just, like, throw 8 daggers at someone?
Make yourself into a telekinetic machine gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More fun things that actually do happen in this spell.
So the second allotted Tiberius Rant for this episode, we can now continue with more pleasant stuff.
Yes. While the ship is lurching, Vex and Grog both go overboard, but dangle off and have to. Yes,
they
that
both
part is
just
fun.
dangle there, and then you have this really cute moment where Travis is like sort of in character, sort of not like hi, hey, crazy shit, huh? Which that would be one hell of a meet cute.
Yes, it would.
And then this is followed up by this whole dangling situation is followed up by Vex. Like, Laura clarifying that Vex totally steps on Grog in the next turn when climbing back onto the ship.
It's so good. I love this.
Yeah.
Scanlan shoves someone off the ship with a forceful hand, and I'm shocked that they didn't make a joke about this.
True. He uses Bigby's hand, kind of like Tiberius tried to use telekinesis but didn't. Like, Tiberius could have just dropped people with telekinesis. Why not? I will commend Tiberius for at one point trying to communicate with a wyvern and telling it that it's now free to fuck off if it wants to. It of course didn't work, but I kind of like that he tried before killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Keyleth has a cool thing where Shield gets thrown off of the ship, which thank you, Matt, for throwing off the one party member one of the 3 party members who can get out of the situation themselves. And Keel's just is like, oh, this is very nice, and just falls for a while, which again is troubling foreshadowing. And then she turns into an air elemental.
She likes this until she doesn't. Yeah. Even when it happens, she kind of is still into it, huh?
What do you mean?
Keyleth plummeting to her death. Even when she finally plummets to her death, she's still kind of into it. Keyleth, can we talk?
She's completely into it until she's dead. She's kind of into that too.
Yeah, exactly. Afterwards, she's kind of like, that was kind of exhilarating. And everyone else is like, no. What's the healing word? The healing word is heal.
Yeah, Scanlan heals, I think, Vax with healing word, and then people insist on him doing a performance, and he's like, the healing word is heal!
Put that in your Wordle.
It's only 4 letters, though.
Oh, shit, it is. Taliesin says that he's counting on Vex, and then Vex hits the
Tira?
The halfling Tira with the grappling hook arrow. That part is nice.
It's also pretty nasty because the grappling hook part is embodied is in her flesh, and then she gets just tied up, and then at one point she's dragged with this back to the ship.
Yeah, and dangled by it. It's pretty nasty.
Really, really nasty. One of the
badass NPC kills the griffin. They don't have a name for him.
Nope. Steve.
Or her?
It's Steve. They just call him Steve.
Steve. Hey, Steve.
But Steve managed to take down a wyvern, whatever. Vex also kills one and then goes back to Keyleth, who is just the wind dust at this point, and she's like, "Come be protected by my sweet wind gusts, yo."
Her sweet, sweet wind gusts.
Sweet, sweet wind gusts. That's when my telekinesis rant came in, chronologically. Also, a really fun thing during the negotiation of the 8 before Daggers attack, Laura is like, I have no idea what's happening anymore, which none of us do.
None of us do, Vex. None of us do, Laura. So that is kind of like...
Just so another thing.
What's happening?
When Keyleth is Keyleth tries to catch someone as an air elemental and fails, and she tries to push up the ship as an air elemental and fails, and then the man is like, yeah, but you did a really badass thing with a bunny rabbit, and then she's like, oh, you don't have to comfort me. I don't need validation. Save that for Orion.
I forgot that. That is also very good.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. And fairly quickly after this, the combat resolves. They've killed all the wyverns. They've killed 2 of the riders and the griffin. And now they have 1 remaining rider.
Percy is called the closer. He finishes out the combat by basically fanning the hammer, by which we mean doing an action search. This is how you get 4 attacks legally at a high level as a high level fighter.
Yeah, it's sexy. Okie dokie.
Mm-hmm. So
with combat finished.
Yep. They now have a hostage.
Yes, they have a hostage. They then get into the ship. Hope that can be caught by the microphone.
I mean, they have her on the ship. They don't really take her inside yet. In fact, the first thing they do is ask Captain Damon what he usually does with Bennett, and he's like, well, throw him off, and then Grog does that.
Yeah.
After Matt has
George...
described her as looking very dirty, impoverished, with rotten teeth and stuff.
Yeah, which I think they think that she's a young girl. To be fair, Matt doesn't fully describe how old she is, just how old she appears.
She looks young and like in her 20s to...
Yes, though he says that living a hard life by the seaside kind of ages you prematurely.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
But Laura scolds Travis for getting rid of their only hostage before learning anything about her, and then remembers that, oh wait, they still have her by a...
I mean, I think she's also just
arrow.
plain out not okay with killing someone who begged for her life.
Yes, that's a good point.
I'm pretty sure she actually does this on moral grounds instead of practical ones. She's just the only one to do so, not for the first and not for the first, not for the last time.
Nope. But fortunately, and somewhat unfortunately, they do still have her by the grappling arrow, so she's still attached to the ship. Unfortunately, because... Ow! The arrow is still embedded in her arm and is the only thing holding her. It's essentially in her shoulder blade, and she just took a fall onto that wound. Ow!
I'm pretty sure,
wound.
This entire weight stuff, like the fall and the dragging her up by the grappling hook would have absolutely dislodged her from her shoulder or something.
For sure, but fortunately for her, she's still attached.
Yeah, and it is better than dying.
And they get her up, and they ask her, and she gives the whole spiel about that we already mentioned about being from an island where their main source of income is piracy.
Yep, and
with those wyverns and griffins.
Like, usually they pirate normal ships, but sometimes they pirate airships, and it's like, I'm pretty sure you could get a better gig if you're capable of taming wyverns.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're getting, you're not making your money's worth here.
Yep.
Vex attempts to still be nice, especially since now they what they wanted to learn, which is their main goal in interrogating is making sure that nobody was here to steal the Horn of Orcus, which, they just were hoping to rob just a regular old ship and get away quickly, and this did not turn out correctly for them.
Yep. No connection to the plot, just random bandits, everyone's fine, and now Tira can start a new life on the ship, which she does. Spoilers.
Yeah, because they did lose a shipmate.
Yeah.
They have a new vacancy. A job just opened up for them.
You win some, you lose some.
Yes.
Literally. Yeah, then
Percy goes to check if the box is still there.
Yep, he remembers exactly one name of the people downstairs, and also Lady Kima. And it's amazing to me.
Which he has to be reminded of.
And it's amazing to me that these three Bahamut people just stayed put during this entire combat situation, just sat in a circle, looked at the box, and nobody moved.
I mean, they certainly moved. They moved.
They were moved.
Kima opens the box and just has like a bloody wound on her head from knocking her head.
Yeah, from when the ship lurched.
Which I found to be very sexy. It's a good look for her.
The fact that she then kills it, the fact that she then heals it herself too is also very sexy.
Yeah, it's sexy. But yeah, I imagine they're just very disciplined and we're like, okay, we're being attacked, just stay with the payload. Like, no matter who gets slaughtered up there, you stay with the thing. Even if the ship is, careening into the ocean, you stay with the Horn of Orcus. It seems like very disciplined to me.
They're the kind of Overwatch teammates you wishes you had.
Yes.
Stay on the payload.
No matter what happens, stay on the payload. And that's essentially the end of the episode.
Yeah, there's like a short kerfuffle where Pike is like, can we trust him? Can we inside check? And Percy or Talos is like, my insight was that the box is still there, which is good enough, really.
Yeah.
And then we're done. The Snuggle Lord enters in full costume, which, again...
Full regalia.
The subtitles always end here, and I just say end of the episode, even though we still have like 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I thought that was really funny. They just say end of episode no matter what it goes on.
Yep. During this end of episode, first of all, Travis does the aforementioned beard roll.
Oh, no, actually they do this after, because somebody donates $100 to
the
foundation.
And tags it with #RockBeard.
Yeah, they basically mentioned that they got a girlfriend from this and from D&D, and also #RockBeard, and then reminded of this, Matt makes Travis roll for beard, and he gets a success for a tiny little, as Matt describes it, 4th grader beard.
Colorless, because Goliaths don't really produce hair and or pigment for hair.
Yes. So it's just kind of
But he does
weird
eyebrows. Does have eyebrows, doesn't he?
And eyelashes. But those, I think, are different here. I'm curious about this. It doesn't have beard hair, pubic hair, or head hair, since those are types of hair.
Huh?
Different from regular body hair. But what is really interesting to me, eyebrows, eyelashes, or sort of general arm and leg hair. That is also different types of hair.
I'm pretty sure he has eyebrows and eyelashes, and that's it.
Yeah, you really need eyelashes. You really need eyelashes.
Yeah, those have like a function.
I just wonder a lot. Like, I know that he doesn't have beard hair or head hair or pubic hair, which makes sense. Again, those are they're mostly longer and are meant to sort of capture pheromones.
Okay.
Fun fact about hair. That's why we have like armpit hair and pubic hair and head hair, is that we emit a lot of pheromones from that hair. And so it's kind of meant to kind of capture those pheromones and keep them there.
Is that why smelling someone's hair is a thing?
Yeah, it is. It's also why we have armpit hair. Once we kind of reach puberty, we get armpit hair because we're emitting sexual signals. And
what?
We're meant to kind of capture that smell and be like, hey, smell these sexual signals. Yeah, this is actually, like, we can map this out because...
Now that we have all learned fun facts about the human body...
Yeah.
The last thing I want to mention, 2 more things I want to mention about this post-game stuff, I kind of skipped through it, but they start off by getting cake from the chat for Matt, whose birthday is 4 days after this. And they kind of pre-celebrate his birthday, which freaks me the fuck out.
Why does that freak you out?
Celebrating someone's birthday before it's actually their birthday is like the height of hubris.
Right. I thought this was 4 days. Oh, you're right. It's 4 days. Yeah, I thought it was 4 days after, but You're right. It's on the 19th. It's on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I remember it being the 19th. And I was like, oh, it's 4 days after. But no, it's 4 days
4 days
before.
after is fine. 4 days before is like,
yeah.
Tempt fate
right.
harder,
That
bitches.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And also Laura, in like the Christmas bit they do during the reading of donations, she gets 2 different armored trinket plushies, and her and Ashley play with those. And that is very cute.
Oh, it's cute.
Yes.
And then they just kind of spend the rest of the episode just looking at donations.
Yeah, which
chatting.
we didn't watch.
No. I mean, we watched a little bit of, but like eventually I just got bored.
Yeah, so with that, we're finally at the
Purvan
Purvan
Scale.
Scale.
That was a guitar solo.
Very good.
Thank you. The P in Purvan stands for pizzazz.
Which we have to give them points for because the map was so fucking pretty.
The map is kind of pretty, and also like I guess there's kind of like a pizzazz to the whole fundraiser thing.
If you want to call it that, sure.
I mean, sure, it's pizzazzy. It's a fun little thing that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 points?
2 points is fine. That's what I was gonna go with.
Okay.
The U in Purvan is for uncomfortableness.
Oh boy, you're gonna have to dock some points here.
But not that many, actually. Like, it was very little. Like, yeah, there was stuff was present.
It was a small part, but it's pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have subtracted at least 1.5 points.
That's fair. Yeah, we're subtracting 1.5 points.
Are we also subtracting because of Orion, or?
That is worst.
Okay, 1.5 points.
Leaving us with 0.5 point.
The R in Purvan stands for role-playing realness.
Which we got a...
I thought this was a nice one.
We got a fair bit of that, huh?
Yeah, we got a lot of fun character moments. We got a little bit of Vax's religion plot line.
A little bit.
We got... I mean, this is skipping ahead, but we got some fun Vex scenes. Percy was really on to this episode.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of stayed in character. I will also say that, like, very early on in the episode, Matt specifically requests there being an attempt to have less crosstalk, and you can tell the difference.
Yep, they actually
tried. It's
tried.
Much easier to actually, like... They actually tried, and also, like, even there is some crosstalk, but everyone is a little bit, like, more focused. That's the thing I really like about less crosstalk, is not just that, like, it's easier to hear what people are saying, but also it forces everyone to kind of focus on the person talking and to pay attention to what's going on instead of going off and doing their own thing.
Yeah, which in turn makes it easier to actually roleplay.
Yeah, so you can really tell that, like, it's contributing, it's helping with the roleplay, and helping just to focus, that they're not having just as much. I have a couple points for this.
Yeah. absolutely, I'm fine with that.
How much are you thinking?
2 again? 2.5?
2 points. 2 points.
2 points, okay, so we are at 2.5. Alright.
Yeah.
The V in Purvan is for Vexiness, which, like, hallelujah.
Hallelujah, it's a Vexy episode.
We have arrived. We are here.
She has a couple of fun scenes there. We have the literal Vexiness. We have the kiss.
Yes.
We have arrows.
Arrows.
And a natural 20 arrow.
Yeah.
We have Vex being a bisexual representation.
Yeah, Vex, like, this all counts into this in case you've forgotten. This is like a pun, and we count both Persalia and just Vex scenes into this. Basically, where we're like, this is our, I mean, okay, this entire scale is nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
It was never intended to be anything but nonsense. We got to be like...
What are you talking about?
Shush.
It is very, very, very valid.
It is...
Don't criticize my baby.
It is valid, but like... This is just here for us to have like a gimmick at the end of the episode and have fun with it, and that's...
Listener, I am covering the Purvan Scale's ears while she says this.
So like...
Keep going.
Are we having like a fight? Are you taking the kids?
No, I want to hear this.
I don't have much more to say to this. It's just like we don't take this seriously, and they're not like... These values are literally meaningless, but we do have fun with it, and it is a gimmick. Okay, so this is...
It is a gimmick,
you can tell because this one category is going to be the one where we are going to break all the rules eventually, and it's also the one we're just the most happy about all the time, because we are biased bitches.
Yeah.
And we are here for our ship.
We're so biased. Yes, we're here for our ship and we're here for a girl.
Yeah. Both of those things. Actually, just be glad we didn't put those in separate categories and really weighted these things.
Yeah. So honestly, I kind of want to give this like a full 3.
Yeah, no, that's a very valid 3. Vex got scenes, there were Persalia scenes. This is cool, this is solid. She's got to step on the grog, she had the scene with the blacksmith, she had trinket attack and combat. He then rolled a 1 into nothing.
Not successfully, but yeah.
It was, yeah. So yeah, no,
nice.
3 points, this is fine.
3 points.
So we're at 5.5?
5.5. So far it's getting ranked pretty high.
Wonderful. Your turn.
Okay, so the A in Purvan stands for action, and I do kind of want to dock this one a point, or maybe like 0.5.
It's hard to say, like...
It's a fun dynamic combat.
We start out
like,
strong,
also, like,
it's like very cinematic,
really
they're actually kind of smart about the combat, but it does drag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it gets a little confusing, and it's a little vicious, and like, I'm okay with all of that. But, I don't know, like, Tiberius dragged it down.
Tiberius drags everything down.
He does. And, like, in general, I kind of want to give it a negative 0.5, but if you're willing to argue for a 0, get with that too.
I think the 0 is the fairest compromise here.
Okay, 0.
0. We remain with 5.5.
Take us to the chorus.
And the N is for 9 cents. Which I actually want to give positive points for, because they did have shenanigans that weren't necessarily related to the plot, but those shenanigans were fun, character related, and didn't drag on for too much.
No, I agree. I think they were really fun. I mean, I think the grog and scaling shenanigans were a little bit much, but like, they were happened very shortly. They weren't a lot. We actually got through most of those.
It feels entirely disingenuous to call the very brief Scalen and Grog scene a bit much because of what's coming after this.
That's a good point. It's gonna get much
worse.
And
honestly, the fact that they just went to a pub together, Grog asked about his backstory, then Scalen backed him up as his hype man, was kind of cute.
It was, and I also really liked the Grog and Pike scene.
Yeah.
With the dangling. It's just fun shenanigans. They got a little bit of fun downtime on the boat to do silly things.
Yeah, like they were absolutely making Captain Damon's life worse for 5 minutes on the dock there, but like, it was very in character and just fun.
Airways, Captain Damon. Spread as far as you can.
Mm-hmm. So, we should give points for this, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a positive points.
Yeah. But how many?
2?
Yeah, I was thinking 2 as well.
1.5? Okay, I think the 2 is just a number that we're thinking of today, because most of these were 2.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so pretty good score.
7.5. That is a lot. I I can't believe
7.5,
I can't believe
it's not
I haven't
bad.
started a document to track the scores so far.
Alright, 7.5.
Good episode. And you can just listen to the comment at like double speed or something.
Yeah.
But there's moments in there that are perfectly entertaining.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was a perfectly entertaining episode that I did not suffer through watching it, and enjoyed some parts a lot. Some parts I enjoyed less, but I didn't feel beleaguered by anything, and we're very much getting into the fun bits of the campaign.
God, yes. Vasselheim is just waving at the horizon.
Yes. So, with that in mind, thank you for listening to this episode.
Yep. Thanks to our 4 patrons at the time of recording. We're getting more of those.
Thank you. Thank you to Lafia for the art.
Thank you to the Current Sun for music. If you too, dear listener, would like to be one of our patrons, pay for such awesome things like the notes we referenced during this episode, or our outtakes, which we also referenced to the episode.
In the upcoming full 5-hour recap.
That one. It's like 4 hours actually, probably 3 when we take stuff out, but yeah, that one's going to be up for our patrons. You can also pay for other benefits, like we can literally write you something, send you something in the mail if you pay us a lot.
Also, you also get the outtakes, so you can like take the 3-hour version and the outtakes and cobble it together somehow in an audio processor to make a full uncut 5 hours.
You also just get the uncut 5 hours
it.
if you just become a patron once we get there.
Yes.
Yeah. And like, I mean, another party member of mine is listening to the podcast. He's also on episode 9 right now. And he was like briefly considering paying for us to say his name. Which I was like, well,
we can say his name.
We say Kay's name all the time and they're not paying us. Also a party member of mine. So, hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Kay.
Good to have you guys here.
Do you have any party members? Do you have any party members with more than a 1-syllable name? I say, going by Bal.
I do, but like one of them isn't in a critical role and the other one isn't a podcast. And no, the third one also has a 1-syllable name.
Oh, lovely.
No, but one of them has like 3 syllables, and I think she's carrying this entire operation. No, I hadn't finished my plug yet. We always get distracted. So follow us on Patreon.
Yes.
You will find the link in the metadata if this is still a podcast on the podcasting apps, because that's been a whole thing. It is definitely in the YouTube description box. You can follow us on Twitter and on Tumblr, where we are semi-active, and you can also just follow our personal accounts, where we are very good and very fun.
Yes, support us financially. Technically, we're both unemployed.
I am not unemployed. I am not unemployed. I might be unemployed tomorrow, but as of right now, like next week when the information gets to the court.
Yes, but I am unemployed. So, for the time being, support us financially if you can and if you're interested. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Our opinion for this episode is that dragons have 4 legs, wyverns have 2 legs, and dragonborns have neither beards nor the ability to see in the dark, which is bullshit.
Wait, he did it.
Yay. Probably our longest opinion so far.
And our most irrelevant one, yes.
Alright. See you guys next 2 weeks.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Da, da, da.